Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Sam the SLB, and alongside me today is the man behind the Twitter, the other half of this operation, Vince McMahon's voice of reason, Scott. We're coming to you from above the ring, Ship It Studios, premier wrestling podcast covering all things from AEW to WWE worldwide. Coming to you Monday morning, Turner time. Scott, how are we doing today?
Oh, we are doing quite well. Thanks to some technical difficulties, we've been unable to do these big shows, but we have changed how we get this done. So we are here, and this episode will go live on Monday morning.
It will. Just want to let you guys know that we did have a technical difficulty. We did record an episode last week and had it all set to go, but the fucking system did not save it. I was rip shit. We almost re-recorded it, and I was like, we're not doing that. Nope. So just in case we missed something, like, for example, I'm going to say, Jeff Hardy showing up in AEW and the Hardy Boys. It's not been ignored. We've had technical difficulties, and we want to just address now that it has been talked about and is lost to the interwebs forever.
Yeah.
But guys, just before we go, kick it off, don't forget to listen to Raw Review, NXT Narrative, and SmackDown Today that drop on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays, respectively. Scott, it's the beginning. It's the beginning of a big week.
Oh my God.
What is it?
It is WrestleMania week. It's going to be the
WrestleMania week, guys.
Busiest 12 days in wrestling. And
again, as we know, we've shit talked and everyone has shit talked. And look, it doesn't matter who's playing the Super Bowl. Millions of people are going to watch the Super Bowl. The same thing goes with WrestleMania. We're excited. We're going to be covering things throughout this week and next week. Scott has an IV full of caffeine. I can't even say what I was going to say because that's not even never mind. I was going to make a joke about, Coke involved, but that's not. We don't do drugs. We're clean people.
That's true.
But a lot of caffeine.
Yes.
We're excited. We're covering this day to day. Please make sure you give Scott a lot of love. He's going to put a lot of work in.
I'd appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
He very much appreciates it. So we're going to go through the calendar quickly. Again, busy weekend, and not just for WWE. So starting on Friday, the 31st, we have, MLW Intimidation Games. WrestleCon's going on. We have a bunch of shows going on at WrestleCon. GCW's Bloodsport 8. On the 1st, we have the return, Ring of Honor, Supercard of Honor 15, which I will be live tweeting. We will go through that card very shortly. Mm-hmm. New Japan Pro Wrestling's Lone Star Shootout. Impact Wrestling's Multiverse of Matches. MLW's Azteca Underground. On the 2nd, big day 1, NXT Stand and Deliver, WrestleMania 38, Night 1. Followed by WrestleMania 38 Night 2 on the 3rd. April 9th, we have New Japan Pro Wrestling's Hyper Battle. Followed on the 10th, we have All Japan in New Japan's 20th anniversary show for 0-1. And on the 16th, we have All Japan in New Japan's Korakuen Hall's 60th anniversary show. We do have for their house shows, WWE decided to bring back Saturday night's main event. I hope they're at least Peacock specials because Scott and I talked about this, I think, off the air, or was it on the episode? It doesn't really matter. You guys didn't hear us talk about this. Even as a younger kid, when they brought it back in the early mid 2000s, Saturday night's main event was super exciting. It was a Saturday night wrestling. It wasn't the pay-per-view, but it wasn't SmackDown or Raw. It had the hype, and it was on NBC.
Right.
Everyone could see it.
Yeah.
It was a big deal. It was a big deal. We have Rebellion for Impact on the 23rd. And last but not least, Triple Mania 30 for AAA in Monterrey, Mexico.
Wow.
Wild month coming up. That's not including the month that's about to happen in May.
Right. We will get to that.
We will get to that again, guys. We will be in Vegas for a certain, we're going to be putting our stakes in for, double or nothing. Honey. But Supercard of Honor. It's the return of Ring of Honor from its short 4-month hiatus, now owned by Tony Khan. Very small card, too. So I'm really curious what's going to happen. I think Tony Khan, who said he's going to be doing most of the writing for Ring of Honor, is going to come back with a weekly show, whether it be streaming or whether it be on a TV deal. TV deal would be cool for Ring of Honor. I think that'd be some weird way. I feel like Ring of Honor might be more accessible than Dynamite for some reason, like Ring of Honor for me was just always fun. Like those were my favorite shows to go to.
And Ring of Honor has it still has, you know, equity to its name. So it's been around for a while, and you know, why not?
Say it has honor to its name.
We are puntastic today, aren't we?
Oh, we are.
But yeah, having ROH back on television, I think would be a really, really good idea. Where they would put it, I don't have a clue, but having more eyes on the product is always a good thing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to this. I want to talk about this card really quickly. It's only 5 matches. I was expecting a little more, but I think Tony Khan has a lot of things up his sleeve. We're going to see a lot of people show up. We're going to see a lot of talent, debut, return in Ring of Honor, what was I going to say? Return in Ring of Honor talent. The Hall of Fame ceremony, we might see people from the Hall of Fame show up. Imagine CM Punk being at a Ring of Honor show. Bryan Danielson. What fucking year is that, man?
Right?
But we'll go through this quickly. Josh Woods taking on Wheeler Yuta for the Pure Championship. Jay Lethal taking on Lee Moriarty in a singles match. Swerve Strickland versus Alex Zayne in the singles match. The Briscoes taking on FTR finally for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. Imagine if FTR walk away with those titles.
It's the only ones the only major tag team titles that they have not held.
Except New Japan, but yeah.
Well, we don't talk about New Japan when it comes to them.
And then last but not least, we have Jonathan Gresham and Bandito. Winner takes all match to determine the undisputed Ring of Honor World Champion. This is going to be, I hope it kind of stays short because we had a lot going on. We have to watch Rampage. You'll be watching SmackDown. We have a lot to talk about.
Yep.
A lot of excitement. I have a good feeling about this show. I'm really feeling it. Also, keep in mind, we have this whole faction in Impact right now.
That is very true.
Of Ring of Honor talent. So the wrestling world is growing, but also closing in. It really feels like in some ways the NWA has like reformed.
True.
Maybe not territories, but by promotions.
Right. Yeah. So as of right now, we got what? If you want to include MLW, we got what, 5 major companies now?
Let's think about this. MLW, which ones are you counting?
Well, I'm counting WWE, AEW, Ring of Honor, NWA, MLW. There are others,
Impact?
but
What about Impact?
So 6 then. Sorry. Impact was in my brain. I don't know why I completely just math, whatever.
That's 6. But even when we take out the majors, let's put together the companies that are working together. We have AEW, we have Ring of Honor now, we have Impact, we have NWA, we have GCW, MLW, we have New Japan. I'm waiting for All Japan to get involved. If New Japan and All Japan are working together, at some point or another, we're going to see some All Japan talent come over.
Yep.
There's so much. I think Stardom has kind of been working its way into the women's scene a little bit over here. So much. So exciting. So exciting. Let's talk about quickly. We're going to jump because you and I could talk about just everything going on in the world of professional wrestling. This gets me excited, especially going into Mania Week. Mania Week really makes you feel. And again, Scott and I have gone to a Mania. And it's one thing to watch it on TV, but to go and do the whole experience from Access, the Hall of Fame, NXT, Mania, Raw after Mania, SmackDown after Mania, it's a celebration of the sport.
Yeah. It honestly is the mecca for a sports fan. Like if you have the ability to go to any of those events around that weekend, do yourself a favor and do it. It is well worth it. And it's I've been to one Mania, but I've been to 2 Mania weeks. Sam and I could talk about that on on a whole nother episode on its own right. And it's intoxicating. Being able to go to Access and seeing people up close and personal, and going to the shows itself, watching NXT for hours on end, and it's just it's well worth it.
It's worth the experience. Just like Double or Nothing. I think Double or Nothing is going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that when we go. But we're not Double or Nothing weekend. We got WrestleMania weekend. A couple of tournaments wrapped up in the past week. New Japan Cup 2022 ended. Winner Zack Sabre Jr.
Nice.
defeating Tetsuya Naito at Osaka Joe Hall. If I'm not mistaken, the winner gets a chance to get but the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship.
Ooh, all right.
So we will see when he takes that one, or if it's going to be at Dominion in June or what. Man, they just don't stop. Tournaments.
You know how much I love my tournament, Sam.
Let me tell you, if you had New Japan World, I don't think you'd stop. You'd be like,
I would have no life, none at all. I
Tournaments
barely
and
have one as it
factions.
is.
that. I mean, they got tournaments and they got factions. They have factions all over the place. They have sub factions of their factions, Scott.
That's true. They've spread to other companies as well.
Mm-hmm. So following that, we had the NWA had the Croc Cup. They crowned their, I guess, new champions. Let's see. Is this the card? I don't know if this is the card. NWA champion was crowned at Croc Cup. Jack Stane defeated Anthony Mayweather for the national championship. Matt Cardona retained against Nick Aldis.
I did see that the Briscoes won the tag tournament.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big deal too.
Let me pull up I grabbed the wrong link for the Crockett Cup. Let's take a look here. Crockett Cup 2022. I think that was the the Briscoes. The Briscoes won the Crockett Cup.
Yep.
Oh, wait, they had two tournaments. Okay, so they had the Crockett Cup, which was the tag one. And then we had the NWA World Junior Heavyweight Championship Tournament.
That's right. They did debut a new title. That's right.
And Homicide won that.
All right.
It's funny. We talk about titles and we talk about how WWE has too many of them. Then we talk about AEW and some people think they have too few. For some reason, anytime the NWA debuts a new title, I'm never bothered by it. And I think it has to do with because those champions, yes, they wrestle for the NWA, but like the old NWA, they bring the title with them from promotion to promotion.
Right.
They are the national champion.
Right.
So I think it's exciting. Again, we got a couple trains. We keep missing them. NWA, Impact. Man.
Not enough time in the day, Sam. Not enough time in the day.
I just picked up Kirby, so I'm just like, I haven't had time to play, playing video games. It's a wild time. So talking about video games, I didn't even mean to segue into that. It sounds like AEW may have trademarked the name for the title of the game. Everyone's getting upset. It's taking forever, blah, 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 blah. I'd rather wait for a game to take forever than just hack something out, put it out. So the trademark that they had was AEW Fight Forever. Some people why don't you call it Double or Nothing or All Out or Ramp? Nope, I think this is a good starter game.
I like it. I do like it. Naming it one of your pay-per-views, that's whatever. You could do that for sequels. You could do that for the next iterations of games. You don't have to, but Fight Forever. I like it. It fits, and the crowd. It's definitely one of the better crowd chants that they get. So I think it's cool, and
I think it sounds like a celebration of
exactly
the genre of wrestling video games.
Yeah, I agree.
It's been around for almost as long as the Hogan era, as long as Mania.
True.
Wrestling video games.
Yep. And people need to understand that, you want this game out as fast as possible, but you have to realize that if they rush it, we could run into a WWE 2K20 situation where it was just a giant pile of hot garbage and they end up having to skip a year, because now when you play 2K22, this game, while it does obviously has its flaws, is such a great rebound for 2K, and I look forward to diving into that game even more. Having a blast with it so far. You've been sharing me some of the matchups from the characters you've created. It looks like a blast. I know the day I get another wrestling game, that's it's over. That's it. My life is done. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'd recommend this one. I know you have 1,000 game systems, but this is a nice bounce back. It's got a lot of characters that aren't even in WWE anymore, which they talk about it hitting different. This certainly does. It's yeah, they've done a really good job. And obviously the creative suite, people out there are just, they're amazing. And the fact that it's all cross platform, so people on Xbox downloading PS5 stuff back and forth, it's, yeah, they've done a great job with this game, and they continue to patch it, constantly. And there's, I think, 5 DLC packs coming out with another 28 wrestlers. So we're going to end up with about 190, almost 200.
Wow.
And not a lot of duplicates. There are some, obviously. This year's main star is Rey Mysterio, and I think you get like 11 by the time you're done. So it's Rey Mysterio's forever. But other than that, not really a lot of dupes. So it's good.
I guess I'll have to add it to my list. And to clarify, because Jericho would come back and try to outdo me, I have 1,001 consoles. Eat that. I bet Jericho don't have 1,002. But seriously, I'm still looking forward to this. I don't care how long it takes. Like you said, Cyberpunk is a good example. 10 years in the making, the game came out like garbage. People were upset when they kept pushing it back. Yep. Now I'm hearing that the game is better off.
That's what I hear. I've had no time to dive back into it because I do own it, but I'm sure once whenever some free time shows up, I don't know. I don't know when that's going to happen, but
free time.
Free time.
But, I think we wait, hold our breath. There's a million other things in the world to do. It'll be fun. When it comes out, it'll be fun. So I want to bring up, it was announced this week that the Warrior Award for 2022 at the Hall of Fame ceremony is going to go to Shad Gaspard, beloved wrestler who had passed away trying to save his son a few years back at 39 years old. And from my understanding, this isn't the first time he's done so, when I've been doing some reading up on it.
Yeah, I've always loved Crime Time. I thought the tag team was super entertaining, and Shad was always, he was more of the quiet one, obviously, because JTG, the man, couldn't shut up on the mic, which was fine. But just realizing how much of like a good man he was behind the scenes, and when this story came out in 2020 that he instructed the lifeguards to save his son before him, and then him unfortunately getting taken under, God, it was devastating. And the fact that he's getting this award, people are trying to say that they want this award changed to the Shad Gaspard Award instead of the Warrior Award. And I mean, if you want to go back and look at people's pasts, all right, I can understand why people would want this name to be changed. But I mean, the fact that he's getting honored by WWE for it, I think is a great thing.
Yeah, I think it's good. It's great. Not much to say. Like, man deserves it. Man was an honorable man. But that'll add some more tear jerkers during the Hall of Fame ceremony this year. Speaking of tear jerkers, huge announcement, very sudden announcement this week. The man, the myth, the legend, probably the guy who, in the long run, the guy who was punished for the curtain call, turning out to be one of the most successful, if not the most successful out of the group, and the most powerful in the industry. Paul Levesque, Triple H, announced his retirement this week. This was devastating, but not shocking, seeing as he suffered heart failure recently, and it was very sudden. I wouldn't be surprised if that was one of the reasons why he stopped like fronting NXT and whatnot. Aside from the fact that Vince was probably pissy that it was losing to AEW in the ratings, but I wouldn't be surprised if this was a factor. What's did it say? Like, he's probably he's been wrestling probably longer than I've been alive. We'll start with that.
Actually, I believe you are correct.
But for some, there were very few people like Dustin Rhodes, like Sting, who can go and look great this long.
Right.
And he still looked pretty good in the ring in his last few bouts. Yes, we can talk about the one over in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, we get that. That was, I don't even know if I'd put that more towards him. He might have been the.
Well, I mean, he tore his pec like 5 minutes into the match. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming you're talking about him and Shawn Michaels versus the Brothers of Destruction.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, the man tore his pec and then still wrestled another, 10, 15 minutes, or at least tried to with Shawn Michaels. So, I mean, God bless him for doing that. But his last match, if I remember correctly, was against Randy Orton in Saudi Arabia. And that ended up being a great match. So, I mean, he went out on top. So
I think it's time for him he needs to take a full authority role on TV. Like, he needs to finally step back.
Yeah.
He can't wrestle. He's announced his retirement. Great. But give him the Regal treatment now.
Right. Well, maybe not the full Regal treatment, because then he ends up on the other show.
No. Yeah, exactly. So, but like,
I know what you mean, though. I know. But no, you're right. The one thing that I'm gonna miss, though, is watching Triple H take bumps. It's probably one of my favorite people, watching him take a hit from somebody and selling it to the moon. It's just, and it also makes you wonder, because when Triple H gets into these moments when he's authority figure on television, you can watch him like hype himself up and like his veins start popping out of his head, and it's like, I don't know if his heart can do that now. So it's like, what do you do?
His theme song, we talk about Motorhead's The Game theme song. Even when I was younger, that was like, The Undertaker had the ear. You did feel the presence with The Undertaker.
Yeah.
And Triple H might have the only other theme that I can think of from me growing up, where it was like, when you heard that first chord.
Yeah.
Chills. Fucking chills down your spine. I remember him coming out at Mania 33, and he was on the motorcycle with Stephanie.
Yes.
And it just, you felt like, if you want to talk about a David and Goliath moment, the fact that Seth Rollins was going up against, his former boss, story, kayfabe related, like, the guy had authority. Even when he would come, I think it was when he came out on Evolve and offered Shotzi a contract.
Yep.
Stuff like that. You just feel, same thing with William Regal. These people have this authoritative,
yeah.
Not many people have that. We wish him the best.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's probably killing him. Let's hope he doesn't do it Brady.
Oh God, no. Well, no, I think he has something in his chest now. I think it's literally impossible for him to wrestle again without possibly causing like a death.
Permanent damage, yeah.
Yeah. So no. As much as I'll miss seeing him on television every week, Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville are doing a fine job in their authoritative role, but yeah, it's going to be tough to top what the Authority did years ago. And it's funny that you brought up Mania 33 with Rollins. I actually just watched a little tidbit of when he came out he came out during TakeOver San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
Leading up to the WrestleMania the moment, and it just, the way Seth was just so overly excited, like, I'm watching this thing and his hands are shaking while he's trying to deliver this promo, and then you just see Triple H come out towards the very end, and he's just standing there at the top of the ramp, and oh my God, like, you could just, that was peak Seth. And Pete, well, I shouldn't say I don't know. Seth's doing some pretty ridiculous stuff now too, but just not saying a word to one another and just staring at each other from the ring and from the apron and just and from the top of the stage. Just, God, it was just so good, palpable, and I'm gonna miss stuff like that with Triple H.
Yeah. Well, we're hoping for the best. A lot of good memories. I'm waiting. I would argue if this is his official retirement, and no, we've talked about the Hall of Fame, and I think there should be better criteria.
Right.
But will not be surprised if this leads to his Hall of Fame induction next year.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. In Hollywood too. Well, that'd be interesting.
Interesting. It's a good take. So quickly, want to go into our weekly shit. But GCW had one night only. I want to go through this card really quickly. A lot going on. And again, this is another brand I think Steven always hits us up about that we need to watch.
Very true. Very true.
Kevin Blackwood took on Mike Bailey, with Mike Bailey getting the win. Nick Wayne got the victory over Jack Cartwheel. Jimmy Lloyd got the win over Sandra Moon. I think this was a intergender match, it sounds like.
Okay.
Matthew Justice gets the pinfall over Dark Sheik. Bussy. Did I read that? Yes.
You did.
Ali Catch and Effie got the win via submission over Gangsta Party of Lulu Cholo and B-Boy. And then I think this was not the main event, but Blake Christian got the win over Jay Vital. Juicy Finau got the win over Eli Everfly. And finally, but not least, our boy Ninja, not our boy, but Ninja Mac got the win via submission over Joey Janela. Just more wrestling news for you guys to consume and go, what else do you guys do with your lives?
Plenty. But 99% of it's wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is. But let's go hop right into Dynamite. It's a good show. A lot going on here. A lot of foreshadowing. Opened up with, again, an incredible... You look at this on card, you're like, this will be good. Like, it sounded good. But but Dax Harwood is a tag team wrestler. How is he going to go single? It was great.
Yep.
I'm loving between Punk and Danielson and FTR. We get a lot more mat wrestling.
Yes.
Dax Harwood and CM Punk took on each other with, I believe, CM Punk getting the victory there.
Yep.
So many near falls.
Yeah. This was the Who Loves Bret Hart More match.
Mm-hmm. I think this was leading to hints that people are like, oh, they're going to sign Bret Hart?
Yeah, because last week we talked about this on the missing show. FTR firing Tully Blanchard as their manager and dropping lots of hints about Bret Hart. So if they are able to sign Bret to be their manager, that'd be big. That'd be big.
Huge. I mean, granted, he was at Double or Nothing. Debuted the title.
That is very true.
Following that, we have the 8-man tornado tag match. Sting, Darby Allin, and the Hardys taking on Private Party, Butcher, and the Blade. Who thought in 2022 we would be seeing Private Party as the heels and Matt and Jeff as the faces? Well, right? At least Matt.
Yeah.
This really was one of those.
It still blows my mind that they have their old theme. I mean, I know it was stock, music, and Tony was able to snatch that up. Also, I love this, and I'm pretty sure this will never happen, but he also got, I guess in that library was the Hardcore Holly and Crash Holly's theme as well. So I'm just like, well, Hardcore Holly confirmed for AEW.
Oh man, imagine that.
Right? God.
Following that, we had John Moxley and Bryan Danielson take on the Varsity Blondes. Again, another tag team we don't see enough of. And I think this is where they're starting to pick and choose. I almost feel like this is them getting ready to create their own faction. If not, we're going to go start our own thing with Ring of Honor and really work with this talent. Like, there's a lot. I have nothing but good things about what's about to happen here.
Yes. And anytime William Regal gets a moment to speak on the mic, I don't care what I'm doing, I'm stopping and listening to this man talk.
Anytime he's on a microphone. I think they technically announced what they call it, the Blackpool
Fight Club. They already have a shirt out too. It was like, all right.
I low key, I was like, yo, what if they call themselves Team Next?
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, I mean, there's already another group that might be doing something similar, but we won't really talk about that just yet.
Yeah, we'll discuss it shortly. Again, Moxley and Danielson got the win here, and they need to take one of them under their wing. So this is I love the Varsity Blondes, but there's definitely there's a limit on how long a babyface team like this can go.
Right.
Jurassic Express works in the long run. For some reason, I don't know what the difference is with them. Maybe because they're just over.
Yeah.
Like they can, it's kind of like, Hogan back in the day. He didn't have to do anything. Just Hogan walked out and blew up. Didn't need to do anything.
Yep.
I feel like the Varsity Blondes could lose steam staying face, but I'm hoping that one of them turns.
There is an interesting dynamic as well with that team because Julia Hart, ever since she got misted by Malachi Black, she's been slowly turning more and more heel-ish, non-responded to the match, not paying attention, and kind of like she doesn't want to be there. There's been more character development on Dark and Elevation, which I know that neither one of us have had time to watch, but I can definitely see the Blackpool Fight Club taking Pillman Jr. under their wing. And of course, then Julia Hart will go on her side, which I still think she should be in the House of Black. And then, of course, that just leaves Griff Garrison. Poor Griff Garrison. Or as the late, great John Huber would say, who the fuck is Griff Garrison?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential for them still. I think there's still... Again, I get excited when they come out. I love watching Brian Pillman Jr. I love watching Griff Garrison come out. But I think it's almost time to start tweaking and...
Right. Can you imagine Pillman Jr. being like his father? How insane Brian Pillman was back in the day. I don't know if that was a little too early for you, but I remember watching it and I'm just like, this man's insane.
Yeah, I don't remember. I only remember hearing, because again, when I was younger, when I started getting into wrestling, I read a lot of books. Mm-hmm. And what seemed like eons, first book I read, I think, was The Stone Cold Truth. Him and Foley and all of them in all their books talked about Brian Pillman.
Yep.
Never knew much about him until a lot later. But I think the thing with Pillman, Junior could, I think, do it because he's his father's son, but also there was a lot of demons that Pillman had, which I think fed into it, which was just natural.
Yeah.
That's the problem with wrestlers like that. Even though they're so good, it's like sometimes it's just like they have so many fucking demons.
Yeah.
So I don't know. He's only begun his career.
Right.
He's only started. I feel it. As my buddy Joey said, I feel it in my bones. Now, probably what could be the best storyline of 2022 so far. Arguably. We got to hear MJF come out.
Oh, boy.
What a promo. Again, I'm not even going to explain. I don't even have to tell you how great this was. This guy fucking spits fire.
Yeah.
He sat there and called Wardlow a pig. Kept calling him a pig. I own you. He just spit venom at Wardlow like no tomorrow. Then Wardlow came out, and I believe
the giant line of security stopping him, and it's just it's coming to Double or Nothing, Sam. We're gonna be able to watch this live.
I don't think this. Something tells me this is too big to be a singles one-on-one. There's got to be some stipulation.
Oh yeah. He's probably gonna fight for his freedom or something. because MJF's like, oh, you're still under contract. Like you said, I own you. It's just like, he's going to do something.
Which they played into that because Wardlow's been removed from the roster on AEW's website.
I did not see that. All right.
Because everyone's like, he's been like, I saw an article, like, clickbait, AEW wrestler removed from roster. And I don't like to read clickbait. So I went through the comments because, there are some heroes out there. And I read through the comments. The first thing I saw, it's a storyline. It makes sense that Wardlow got pulled. And I'm like, okay, I don't need to read anymore.
Yep.
It makes sense because the plan into the he's technically not an AEW wrestler.
True.
He works for MJF.
Right.
He's contracted with MJF.
Yeah.
So I'm getting some real, again, this is bringing me back to when I was younger and the ruthless aggression was going on where like Batista and Randy Orton were splitting from like Evolution.
Yep.
This was really feeling like a real power struggle. I cannot wait. Like this is, it makes me wonder if he's going to win the belt.
At some point, I definitely can see him winning the belt. I see him going over MJF. If they do it a double or nothing, that'd be great. But at that point, Hangman then has to drop the belt because I don't think having Wardlow go against Hangman would, two baby faces is fine, but AEW has done a good job with putting a heel versus a baby face. So it makes you wonder who's going to take the title from Hangman. And then Wardlow comes in and saves the day.
Speculation. Speaking about speculation and some interesting. Well, let me start off by saying we got Jay Lethal and Adam Cole on this card.
Oh my God! Yes.
What is this ring? This is the Ring of Honor.
Ring of Honor.
Hello.
Yeah.
This was. I think this was because I'll scroll through my phone, like everyone does. This is the match. I think I put my phone down. I was like, I gotta watch this.
Yeah, it was outstanding. It brought me back. I was just like, this is how it should be. And of course, the ending was exactly what I expected it to be. Of course,
With Adam Cole getting the win.
Yeah, with Red Dragon getting involved. Yeah.
What? Because I'm like, oh my God, Jay Lethal loses again. I was a little frustrated because he's Ring of Honor.
Right.
That's the face of Ring of Honor for me.
Yeah.
And they do a promo and he goes, I've won every fucking, I'm winning like crazy on Dark and Elevation. And the two matches I have on Dynamite, I lose. And I go, and he's like, I have no problems losing, but the fact that you needed help
in both of them,
makes me feel better about myself. So we got this promo where we might be getting some good Jay Lethal.
I hope
real
so.
soon.
I hope so. Yeah, because he talks about how he should feel better about himself, that you needed help to beat him, but he doesn't. He's just like, something needs to change. And I'm just like, all right, well, give me some good stuff. I can't wait. Oh my God. Yeah. When Jay Lethal is allowed to be himself, watch out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So much good shit. We also had, following that, we have, I believe, did it come first? Yeah, so we had the Sammy Guevara, Ty Conti promo against Dan Lambert, which was so good. Again, like I know a lot of people don't like Dan Lambert, but like again, people got to remember the way he talks is how he's gonna piss you off, and that's his job. He's done his job. He's gonna frustrate you.
Yep.
And this was great, Paige Van Zandt coming out and them all, spitting shit at Ty, and it just, again, best part of the promo was at the end where they're like, was it Lambert put the belt in his mouth, and they're like, yeah, with what Ty and I did with that belt on, you got a little bit of both of us in your mouth now. And then they post a photo of themselves on Instagram, on Twitter, where they're both naked with the belt in bed. It was perfection.
I cannot tell you how much the internet hates those two so much. And it's so comical to have them just fire back with these ridiculous tweets and they just don't give a fuck. And it makes me laugh so hard to see it. And I respect them even more for being like, you know what? You don't like us? Okay, here's more.
I think, and again, they're great as faces, but now imagine them doing this as heels.
Oh my God.
I mean, Sammy's already been a heel and he's a great heel.
It's true.
Imagine Ty and him doing this as heels.
Yeah, just being horny on main for spite. It's pretty much how it is.
So, and following that, we had another, Red Velvet taking on Leyla Hirsch, with Hirsch getting the win over Velvet. If I'm not mistaken, does that put Leyla at the top of the
Layla's up near the top of the rankings anyways, but I think this just furthers along the feud that she's going to have with Chris Statlander. Now that Statlander's made a slight tweak of her own character, going more towards the dark side of things. Something, for some reason, I don't know why I feel this way, but I feel like at the end of this whole thing that I think Red Velvet's going to get destroyed by both of them. Like, I don't know if it's going to be like her and I don't know if it's going to be Chris and Leyla becoming a tag team, because I don't know. I have many thoughts about this whole thing, but I don't know. I feel like Red Velvet's going to be at the bottom of all this before it's all said and done.
Yeah, no, I can see that, and who knows, that'll lead to maybe her rise, and maybe she'll be the one to finally defeat Jade Cargill for the title.
I mean, her and Jade certainly have their own history, so that wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, this is the thing. So Leyla Hirsch's win knocked Red Velvet was number 1 and knocked her down to spot number 3 in the women's rankings.
Okay.
So yeah, fascinating. But regardless, last but not least, we got some JAS action to close out the night. Chris Jericho, Daniel Garcia taking on John Silver and Alex Reynolds of the Dark Order. Daniel Garcia, man, he got. I watched the video today. Forgot who it was by, and they were talking about people who came out of nowhere and just on AEW TV and just made a name for themselves. Really, Daniel Garcia was one of the names, like top 5.
Yep.
Like, dude, what the fuck? Like, he can perform. Him and Jericho have good chemistry. This is what, again, Jericho is the king of reinventing himself.
Yep.
And he is, sports entertainers in AEW.
Yep.
God, I hated that term.
I love it so much. Just oh my God, the amount of hatred and booing when Jericho first said that they were not professional wrestlers, but they were sports entertainers. I was just like, bottle this up and feed it to me. I love this. It's such great heat. And then I again, another thing I mentioned on our long lost episode, that WWE has started to mention professional wrestling or professional wrestlers on their programming too. So it's like, all right, are we kind of like, all right, I see you from the other side of the thing here. All right, let's have a little fun working together here. But yeah, Jericho again reinventing himself, and just I like the Jericho Appreciation Society. I expect it to grow at some point, find more sports entertainers and bring them in. It's just, yeah, it's good stuff. And Jericho's a better heel anyways. I love him as a face, but as a heel, he's so easy to hate.
It's kind of like Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is a good face too, but you can only go for so long without you going, okay, he needs to be an asshole again.
Correct.
Here, obviously we got, they got the win, as they should.
Yep.
And this, again, actually, now I'm reading the Bleacher Report article we're going through. The last tidbit on this, Garcia used the sharpshooter 25 years to the day that Bret Hart used it to defeat Steve Austin by KO at WrestleMania 13 was great, intentional or not.
Yep.
So if this is literally them getting ready to be like, yo, the best there is, the best there was, the best that ever will be is going to be showing up in AEW TV as a manager.
Yep.
Man, wild.
It's good.
So we're going to hop over. I'm going to talk about Impact quickly before we go right into Rampage. Again, we need to get ourselves back on this train.
I know.
Kind of thing. We need to make a shirt that says "Ride the Impact Train" because we're not riding it or something like that.
Somebody ride it for us.
So opening match: Laredo Kid, Willie Mack, and Speedball Mike Bailey went on a 3-way. And wow, the articles we're used to going through always gives me, I don't know what it is. They don't give me any answers anymore.
That's no bueno. Well, it looks like it was a Rebellion X Division title match qualifier, and Willie Mack getting the win here.
As he should. Guy's a beast.
I agree. 100%.
Following that was Heath versus Steve Macklin with, I believe, Macklin got the win.
Mm-hmm.
A lumberjack match. Eric Young, Joe Doran taking on the Good Brothers.
Ooh, for the Impact World Tag Team Championship.
For the tag titles. Does it tell me? I'm going to assume Violent by Design retained.
They did. Absolutely.
Rocky Romero. Wow. I feel like we just watched him on AEW like a few months ago.
Right.
Rocky Romero taking on Eddie Edwards. With Eddie getting the win. And finally, for the Knockouts Championship, Mickie James taking on Tasha Steele in a street fight. And it looks like, wow, this is like some of the worst. I usually have this all up. We can just scroll through it.
Tasha actually ended up retaining the title with a little bit of some help from Chelsea Green, because apparently Chelsea and Mickie are at odds now, and yeah. I guess if I remember seeing something correctly, there's going to be a tag team match as Matt Cardona and Chelsea Green take on Nick Aldis and Mickie James.
I'm excited. Oh, man. That'll be good. That'll be good. So that's Impact going right into their stuff for WrestleMania weekend. Last but not least, AEW Rampage. I can't believe they fit 4 matches
every week. And it doesn't feel like they're garbage matches either. It's just they're good matches. It's crazy. And they're able to fit 4 in an hour. So God bless them.
Let's talk about this opener. Lance Archer taking on Dustin Rhodes. With, I believe, Rhodes getting the pin here.
I was surprised. Not gonna lie. I was surprised that happened.
I hope we get another match between, like, these guys deserve a pay-per-view bout.
Yeah. There are definitely some hosses just going at it in this ridiculous match. Of course, Dustin bleeding everywhere. But I feel like his skin is like paper thin now at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Almost into Ric Flair.
It's that Rhodes blood.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Following that, we had Dark Order taking on Red Dragon, again with Red Dragon getting the win here. What else can we say about that? Red Dragon looks great.
I will say, I believe it was during this match or after this match that we had the stare down. Oh, no, wait. I might have been, actually, that was before this match. The stare down between the House of Black and the Dark Order. And I'm just like, oh, in another universe, this might have been a mega faction.
Well, let me do some fantasy booking for you, Scott. Because I'm just thinking about this. Because remember who the Dark Order were.
It's true.
Think about the House of Black, who the House of Black are.
Yeah.
In reality, they're almost not too different from each other.
True.
You would need somebody to unite them. Somebody who's dark and mysterious and evil, like the House of Black, and somebody who, in a sense, was family to Brody Lee.
I see where you're going with this, Sam. I like this idea. I like this a lot.
You know, maybe
Oh,
feel
God.
some winds of change. You feeling me?
Oh, my God. It's like you have the whole world in your hand.
Wyndham Rotunda to join these two granted, then it could blow up into an all-out war afterwards if things when things don't work out. But imagine dirty. Be fucking dirty.
Oh, that is exactly what I needed to hear this morning, Sam.
Dirty. Following that, we had Nyla Rose in action, which I think it was pretty much a squash. She's had, you know what? She's had a really consistent pace. Not like she's not on TV all the time, but now when she comes out, she still feels like she's a monster. She does what she needs to do and she leaves. It's not like before where it's like, oh, she's squashing every week. Title shot, loses the title shot.
Right.
Go back to seeing her squat. Like this is like consistent. It's like Nyla's here, just so you remember.
Yep.
And then she goes away.
Yep. And of course, the little controversy that happened on Dynamite didn't exactly, hurt the cause, because all PR is good PR, I guess, and I don't know, but yeah. we'll see how this goes. She's clearly the next challenger for Thunder Rosa, or the first challenger for Thunder Rosa, so that should be interesting.
That'll be fun. Following that, we finally had QT Marshall giving out his QT Marshall certificate of appreciation, or is it accomplishment? It doesn't really matter, because Hook actually came out. Cue the Sopranos theme.
Yeah.
Comes out again, doesn't say anything. Puts Aaron Solo through the fucking thing and walks out.
Amazing.
That's all we need.
Yep. It's so good.
And how do we know how good Hook is and how much power he has? Danhausen tried to curse him and he walked away unharmed.
No, Danhausen's like, what happened? This always works. I cursed him, but it didn't do anything.
Oh man, poor Danhausen.
Honestly, though, if that's going to be Danhausen's first actual match, then God bless him, because we
need to see him in the ring.
I know.
I think people need to realize, because I don't know if it had the same effect, but I've seen him wrestle. He's a good wrestler. And I think people need to see him in the ring. Not like Orange Cassidy, where everyone was like, oh, he's a joke wrestler. He was at the Double or Nothing Casino Battle Royale, and he did the kicks and he got thrown out. Everyone's like, that's great. And then you wrestle Pac, and everyone's like, what the fuck?
This man can go. And we're all.
And then he wrestled Jericho.
Yep.
It's like, oh, he doesn't just joke wrestle now.
No.
Like, I think we need to see that. We need Danhausen in the ring. It'd be very talented and very evil.
Be very nice to watch, though.
Very nice. Very evil to watch. Now, this may have been my favorite match of the night, if not of the week. Swerve Strickland, Ricky Starks for the FTW title.
So happy that Swerve is here. He's such a talented wrestler.
It is Swerve's house now, boys and girls. It is now Swerve's house. If you didn't follow him as Isaiah Swerve Scott on NXT, buckle up. You're in for a ride now.
Yep.
Does it suck he didn't win? It would have been a fucking incredible W for him to just get the FTW title and walk out.
Yep.
No problem. But we haven't seen the end of him. Swerve, he's a main eventer. He's a main eventer. He's been a main eventer since he was in NXT. Yep. He's gonna main event someday. He's so good. Watch this match. These two, and again, Starks is amazing as well. Even with the assist from Powerhouse Hobbs, it didn't feel like, oh, this got cheated. It was just like, We get more
champion
swerve.
doing whatever he's going to do to hold on to his title.
Yes. Yeah, just so good. Great week of wrestling. Great week coming up, guys. It's WrestleMania week. We're covering everything. One thing I want to note that I just looked at my phone and I want to bring up. I think it might be one of the most, especially with this show. So we cover AEW and New Japan and Ring of Honor. The catalyst per se for the 21st century of wrestling. So this past weekend on Saturday, the 26th, 21 years ago, it's the day that WCW aired the last Monday Nitro. 21 years ago. You know, that was legendary. Again, I started watching wrestling a couple of years after. So by that point, it already felt like forever.
I remember that night. I'm getting chills now, actually, just thinking about it. At that point, I had become a WWE fan more than WCW, but I would go back and forth. And I remember being on the websites back in the day. Yes, we did have the internet back then.
On the interwebs.
And being on WWE's website and WCW's website and just watching this happen and flipping between both channels and the interview with Shane. Well, not the interview, but when he came out, I remember flipping it over to TNT to watch the WCW version of it. It was just crazy to. I think I actually watched more of WCW that night than WWE because I wanted to know what they were going to do. And if I remember correctly, the main event, I believe, was Sting versus Ric Flair, with Sting getting the win. And then they had the handshake and the hug in the middle of the ring after the match was over. And I remember Tony was just like, I don't know what's going to happen, if we're going to be back next week, or it was emotional to watch because it felt like the past few years had been dedicated to the Monday Night Wars, and to see
The end of it.
finally by the other and complete and finally it be done was just it was surreal to watch as a kid.
Let me ask. I don't think I've ever asked this question to somebody who did watch it live. Was Vince McMahon's purchase of the company announced prior, or was it a complete shock? Like, was it you know how today it's like, oh, there are rumors going around that this happens, and like, oh, and it shows that, oh yeah, I guess that, you know, like Tony buying Ring of Honor, kind of like, oh, you know, the rumors about, like, was there that, or was it like blatant Vince McMahon showing up on TNT and everyone's like, what the fuck?
I mean, I'm sure to like the hardcore internet people back then, I'm sure people knew about it. Myself, I was young. I wasn't using the internet to look up the latest scoops on things yet. So for me, it was a complete surprise. I'm sure for a lot of people it was as well, but I mean, I'm sure that news was out there. It's, you know, if it's a public thing, public sale, I'm pretty sure that it was out there.
Yeah. We might have to do a watch of that. I don't think I've ever watched the full thing. I've watched huge chunks of it, but maybe we should do a live watch of it one night.
Pretty cool. Yeah, absolutely. Got it. Oh my God, that'd bring me back.
We'd do that. You can relive the moment. I can watch it, not say real time, but, you know, be able to see my reactions in real time.
Right.
Experiencing it. Something we could do. But guys, an abnormal week. It's WrestleMania week. Scott's gonna be covering all the, you know, again, Raw review, NXT narrative, SmackDown study, usual times. We will have a special episode of AEW and Ring of Honor Supercard dropping sometime next Monday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
Our go home show. When did we say we were dropping this? Were we dropping this on Friday?
We were dropping it first thing Saturday morning, WrestleMania Night 1 and NXT Stand Deliver. And then after that, we're still trying to decide whether we want to do one episode per WrestleMania night, or I don't know. We'll figure it out. There's so many things moving. There's so many variables still in the way. But yeah, it's gonna be ridiculous. And by the time this is all said and done, we will know our first ever Ship It Studios heavyweight champion of the world. Very much forward looking to see who's going to win Right now, I'm in the lead, thank God. But there's still 2 more points out there. So everybody else still has a shot, unfortunately, except Mr. Zach. He is just outside of that. But
Coming up short like I usually do.
Sam, you have a chance to tie. And then we'll have to go to a tiebreaker, which I think
WrestleMania Backlash.
That's yeah. Perfect. But we will discuss all that. We will let everybody know during our go home show just how everything will work out, and we'll see who wins the title and enjoy all this wonderful wrestling.
Yes, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Join us throughout the week. If you don't already do so, please make sure you follow us on Twitter at Above the Ring. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Above the Ring. Don't forget to follow Ship It Studios, our podcast network that we work so diligently with to give you all the finest quality content. We are on all streaming platforms. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a review, tell people why Above the Ring and Ship It Studios is the podcast of your choosing and why they should listen to us as well. Thank you for listening, guys. WrestleMania week right now. It's happening. Don't forget to ship it. And as always, do not forget, especially this week, to join the Bedlam.